Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm back. I know, the 13 subscribers. Not many, but you know, one of them's my mother. This is not a new top, it's just something I pulled out because I was so hot, even though it's knitted. It's not even hot, but when I woke up, I was like, have I got a fever? Have I got a fever? I'm not entirely sure. So, Orphan Black is back. I'm gonna do my Orphan Black chats again. It's never kept that name. I don't know why, but I just never named it that. I watched Orphan Black 3 times in the day it came out. I didn't watch it on Friday because I couldn't find like a link. I was hoping someone would tweet it, but the great thing about Twitter, after I watched it, everyone had these theories and I was like, that's so good. I mean, even in the run-up before it, everyone had these theories and I was like, they're so good. How did I not get that? How did I not think of that? So I watched it 3 times on Sunday. It's a great day to come out because there's nothing on TV. So I watched it once myself. My mum was like, why are you just going to watch it by yourself? They're now into it. So they watched it, forced it upon them. I was like, you're gonna have to watch this great show because, you know, get what I'm saying. Because I like great things. I went to see the workshop. I had a few sort of like, I mean, they replaced Blue, and I was a bit like, there's the one song I wanted in it, the one that I was going to sing along to. But she ended up really liking that. She was like, I would go see that again. And I was like, yes. She was like, I can see why you want to be in it. And I was like, yes. She feels the same about Orphan Black. She's like, that's not too bad. I was like, I'd take that as a recommendation. And also, I'm going to Paramore on Monday, which I'm so excited for. It's come around so quick because, well, we only bought the tickets in May. But now I'm really excited. I'm going with my friend. He's just as excited as I am. I mean, sorry, she can't be more excited than I am because I've been waiting for this for 4 years. They came back in 2013. Paramore are one of those bands that have had quite a few lineup changes. Quite a few, you know, struggles in the band. They best not break up. Don't know if my heart can handle that. I mean, I've loved this band since 2010. Yeah, it's 2010. Yeah, suddenly just dawning on me. I can't explain to you how much I love this band. I mean, obviously, if they do break up one day, I'm obviously, because like you can't carry this forever. You can't be like, I mean, you could be like the Rolling Stones, but you might want to start a family, have a different career. I don't know what my hands are doing. For the time being, I'd like another album. Beggars can't be choosers, so I'm just happy that they're returning. And this is tour 1. Let's get into it. Season 5. I know. First episode, did I write it down? Because I have the pesky notes thing back. Did I write down the title? Because that'd be just like me. The Few Who Dare. I've always loved Orphan Black's episode titles. I thought I should stop using the word so, but people tell me I'm very eloquent, and then I look back on these videos and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about because all I say is like and so. Yeah, we start off with Sarah. She's been stabbed, hit with a walking stick, which is actually quite painful. I mean, I think it's quite painful being hit with my cane, so I can only imagine quite painful being hit with a walking stick at full force. But she's still going, she's still walking, which is some determination, I must admit. And then we go to Felix and Ira, who are speaking to Sarah. She's got 2% battery. She should have, I tell you what she should have done. She should have done the battery saving power thing where it goes yellow. That's always coming up and I'm like, I don't want that. No, go away. They're talking about, Ira talks about village and I'm like, oh god, it's our village on the island where Casima is, you know, it's just like, oh yeah. And then we see Rachel going to visit this PT Westmoreland, who we have yet to see. And then we go back to Sarah. Oh my gosh, you're already going to cut me off. So we go back to Sarah, and I've now got this bad habit of, because I watch, you know, Colby Deslick. I don't know whether you watch him, because he is American and he's a Broadway star. He's currently in Miss Saigon in America, and he ends his videos and then he's like that, and I'm like, ugh, like, got this bad habit of going like that. You should watch him. I love, like, Broadway.com. Slightly bad habit. I watched all of the Purple Summer vlogs, all of the School of Rock vlogs. I hate the word vlogs. It just, you know, where words just make you want to go yeah, that is one word I cannot stand and I don't know why. So I watched them. Was watching the Talk Everlasting vlogs, and I think I'm watching another one. I'm getting through watching all of them. Oh, I'm also watching the Sierra Boggess ones of when she's in Phantom of the Opera. I think I butchered her last name. So let's get back to Orphan Black, because otherwise the camera's gonna flash at me again and be like, ah. So Sarah's doing some self-surgery, and who knew a tampon could be, like, have so many uses? I never knew that. If ever you've got a bleeding wound, just stick a tampon on it. And then we see Sarah after she's done her self-surgery. She's tied it up in a nice little pretty bow. Not really. And she's got up and she's like, and then she hears something. And then this thing comes out and attacks her, and I'm like, whoa. I do have a idea. My first thought was their genetic experiments gone wrong. Like they've been part of Dyad or this camp or something that Susan Duncan has done, and they've gone wrong and they've been set to live on the island and sort of never mix unless like you wonder about the other parts of the island. That might be wrong, or it might be partly right. I think the genetic experiments part could be right. Obviously Sarah bashes him with a rock. I'm gonna say him because it looked like a him. I might be wrong though. Bashes him with a rock and off he flees to who knows where. And throughout the episode we do see like shots of like someone watching Sarah, and I'm assuming it's that person. And then we get to Cassima, and I'm like, Cassima, you're alive! Oh, I'm so happy to see you when you're not falling backwards on my shelf, because nightmare. Again, if anybody has any advice on what to do, because my Funko Pops keep falling, and I'm like backwards, and I'm like, that's not really me that falls backwards. So I don't know. So then we get to Cassima and we meet this new character, Mud. Great name. And I'm sort of like, I don't know what to think of her. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is the episode that's got, like, it's got me confused on who to think is good and bad. I mean, I've always thought that with Orphan Black, that it's quite clever in the sense that no person is straight black and white. Like, before Mud comes in, Cassima's like locked in her mud hut. It's not a mud hut. Oh, what was it called? Memory. Bad. But you know, like the hut. They've locked her in, which is kind of weird. She's sort of free to... I saw someone else talk about this, but it's like she's free to move around to a certain extent. And as we see later in the episode, we see Mud outside watching, like guarding. It's like, if she's so free there, why do you have to have someone sleeping outside her house? And then we learn the name of this village, so we don't just have to call it this weird village. It's called Revival. And then we learn that they're almost fully off the grid, which is kind of cool, you know. That's normally where it starts to go wrong, when you start to learn that it's off the grid and it does all these things and you're like, something's not right here. Mud is talking about how they're genetically improving the human race. Improving the human race is never as simple as being an eco place, life, habitat. You just know it's never that simple. So I'm like waiting for the shoe to fall and be like, this is how we make genetically better humans. Yeah. And then Cassima asks about Rachel, and Mud says it's a big day and they all know about Rachel. I'm like, oh, Rachel's like the town celebrity. And then she says that Rachel is up in the house on the sort of hilly bit, meeting PT Westmoreland. So not only is Casima in that village, Rachel's in that village, and it's all sort of controlled by this PT Westmoreland. And then we see Charlotte. She's still there, you know. I'll tell you, Charlotte is a smart one, because she says later in the episode, it's a bit scary, and I'm like, yes, I know. Like that obvious. There's something not right here. Brownie lines. We found out that the village knows about Susan and Rachel's feud. She'll call it feud. She stabbed her mother. We call that a feud. And that PT, we're just gonna call him PT. I don't mean like physiotherapy, but I mean PT Westmoreland. PT and Susan. I was about to say Rachel. Like, no. PT and Susan go way back, and I'm like, what does way back mean? Like, were they romantically linked like her and Ira? Never have quite forgotten that. And then we see Felix going to the safe house after Sarah told him about Kira and Mrs. S being taken by Ferdinand. I was going to call him Fernando. I was like, no, that's taken me out. And then we see Art and Felix sort of make each other like, so Felix is hiding, and then Art comes in and like, I almost hit you with a pan. I almost shot you, so we're even. A little bit more dramatic than that, but you know. And they start investigating the safe house and being like, where could they have gone? And then Art's like, he's sort of in hot water at the police. Not hot water, but like under very tight restrictions. And he says he doesn't know who to trust in the police force, but like who's the illusion, who's not. I'm like, obviously Art, they're all dodgy. They're all like, you can't trust none of them, because we just saw in the final episodes when they went to go find Trina, the head honcho guy that was like, Beth, you need to do your interview. Like, the sort of the one higher than Art, like their boss, was in the illusion. So it's fair to say that most of them, if not all of them except for Art, because Art is like the one shining star, and maybe Raj, but we don't see Raj anymore, so I'm like, have they got rid of him? I hope not. But they're all dodgy. And then we skip to Alison and Donnie, and I'm like, oh, I love these two. I love Alison and Donnie. They're just great. They're just great. It's hard to describe, but they're just, like, you know, when you just like, Alison and Donnie, and they just bring a smile to your face. And, the dog. Seriously, Alison's on the phone to Felix, being like, what should we do? What should we do? Do we move? Do we stay? And, he's like, Felix is like, stay put, you know. And then she gets off the phone, and Donnie's like, so what do we do? The plan is to sit here, sit tight. And Alison's like, sit tight in a national park. And I don't know why that makes me laugh. Oh dear. And then we go back to Art, and we find out he has a new partner. Yeah. I mean, can we just say he's not had much luck since Beth? I mean, he had Angela DeAngelis, who, whilst not the illusion, was a bit nosy. So I don't have high hopes for the new one, called Maddie. I'm not going to say her last name because I didn't really hear it. No, I sort of got it, and then I was like, is that it? Because, you know, sometimes some people can sort of say it in a funny way that, like, is not how it, like, is. So, you know, I got that her name's Maddie, so. And, we see them in the car, they've driven out of town. Like, this is a bit weird, and we find her showing Art this folder on the Hendrixes, and I'm like, oh, that is not good. And then she's like, have you met the psycho one? I'm like, oh, don't be talking about Helena like that. She may be crazy, but she may have murdered people. But let's just forget about that, shall we? Yeah. And then we go back to Sarah. And can I just say, Maddie may be even worse than Duco. Yeah. So then we go back to Sarah. All this time, everyone's been telling Sarah, like Ira has and stuff, been telling her about this boat and to get to the boat and, you know, sail off in the boat. That's what Cosima and Charlotte were meant to be doing. Get to the boat, sail off in the boat, to safety in the boat. And we finally see the boat that everyone is talking about. I mean, it's guarded by guards because they're all after Sarah, but you know, we find the boat finally. And then so these guys that are hunting Sarah, we hear them as she's hiding a bit poorly because you can sort of see the sticks here. Like, they must have been a bit, like, not very good. I mean, saying that, I probably wouldn't have spotted it because we all know why I wouldn't have spotted it. We hear one of them say, we don't go home till she's back at Revival with the other one. I'm like, yeah, that sounds reassuring of this, that Revival is so great. And then we go to Delphine, and I'm like, Delphine, hooray, we get to see you, because, you know, you and Cosima together forever. She's doing a doctor role, you know, she's looking after the people, and she's talking to this little girl and her mother, and we later find out that this little girl has cancer, and that she, in some part, has an importance for something to do with this. And she talks about this fountain, and I'm like, what fountain? Like, they've come for the fountain, because we learn that these people are chosen from around the world to come here for something. I mean, the fountain, but so I'm like, what fountain? This is sounding a bit cult-like. Yeah, a bit cult-like, sort of, but not a cult in terms of religious beliefs, but in terms of the science and the sort of, you can live forever, you can be superhuman. Like a medical cult, if that makes sense, if there's even one like that. And I'm taking it, although they lock Cosima's door, they don't take locking doors very well at Revival, because this guy who I originally thought was P.T. Westmoreland, but turns out he's just like the messenger guy. It's like pounding on the door. After Cosima's done, she has to quickly, not Cosima, Delphine's done, so she quickly rips the note of the little child, for some reason, hides Cosima's medicine, because, you know, priorities, and then lets him in. I'm like, they obviously don't do a locking door thing here, because we'll see later, I'll tell you in a bit further in the episode, they also don't do locking doors. I'm like, you'll lock Cosima's door, but you don't do locking doors anywhere else. Bit strange. And then we see Scott and Hellwizard. Can I just say, I love Scott. I love Hellwizard, but I love Scott so much. He's like one of my favourite characters besides the clones. I mean, technically they're all my favourite characters, but like, I just have a special place, I've done it again, special place for Scott. And they're talking about how they're trying to contact MK, and I'm like, yes, MK can help. And I did see a rumour that MK might die, because they released this clip with Sarah and MK, so I'm like, yes, Sarah gets out of the clutches of Revival and off the island and somewhat free. They sort of do a clone swap, and as Ferdinand, not Fernando, is coming up the stairs, like very like, I'm gonna get you, da 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 da. I'm like, no, do not harm MK. And then again, I'm like that with all the clones. We go back to what we switch between Donnie and Alison and Art and Maddie. And so we see Donnie's got his suitcase. They're sort of getting ready to leave because they're not staying put, like Felix said, which in some part is a good idea. And then he sees at the corner of his vision these two blokes sort of coming towards them, so he runs behind the tree with his suitcase, I must add. And then sort of Alison comes out sort of very loud, because she's very loud, in a good way though, and sort of like, do we wash these first and stuff? And then Donnie's sort of like, no, don't say anything, don't say anything. And then these guys come and put a black bag over her head and kidnap her. And I must admit, she's very good at sort of not being restrained, because she's like up and down, like while they're trying to keep hold on her. She's going, Donnie, where are you? And Donnie's hiding behind the tree. And then we see Donnie running as they're sort of struggling to hold Alison, running with the suitcase. And I'm just like, of course she took the suitcase. And it's not even like a really bulky suitcase that you're like, okay, it's like, what, like a trolley. And I'm like, why would you take that? And then we go to Art, who is still in the car with Maddie, and then a van pulls up and you're like, oh no, that's never good news when you see a black man that's all like blacked out. And then they go and look in the van and there's Alison, and you're like, oh, Alison. And it's sort of like Alison and Art meet and they're like, what are you doing? And they're after Helena, and so that Maddie puts a gun to Art's head because she's been told she can't harm her hair on the clones, but she can hurt Art. And I'm like, double standards, you're meant to be his partner. Alison's like, no, I can't, I don't know where she is, because she was off hunting, so it's like, she could be anywhere. And she's like, oh, okay, I believe you. She says to Art that, you know, you've got to embrace this new future that's coming. And I'm like, new future, new path, what? And then we go to Felix and he goes back to the safe house, but there's someone waiting for him. I cannot remember his name, the guy, but it was a guy. And he goes on about, he's talking to Felix being like, there's only one faction now. I'm like, there's never only one faction. There'll be like an underground faction ready to pop up. And they sort of, I think he sort of kidnapped him, sort of taken him hostage amicably, because he was like, are we going to do this amicably? And I'm like, what's the not amicably option? And then he says that Rachel has taken a special interest in his family. You could say that again, that she's taken a special interest in his family. Like, that is understatement of the year. And then we go back to Sarah on the island. She's hiding because they've now got dogs after her. And we see that there's this tower quite far from the village where game is hung up. Sarah doesn't think anything of it, but then when these guys come after her to take her back to the island, they're like, why? Well, one of them's like, why is the game hanging up this far out? And the other, like, there's three guys. The young guy's sort of a bit like, what's going on? And the older guy is like, don't worry about it. So it's like, is there sort of like levels of people that know stuff? Like, there's certain people that know what's going on the island and things, and then they're keeping everybody else in the dark. We see Delphine come in with the messenger bloke. That's all I'm going to call him till we have a name for him, because I'm not entirely sure. Come in and say, Delphine's leaving again, and she's going to Sardinia. Although I've seen stills for the next episode and it looks like she's back, so that was a very quick trip. But then she's like, can I have a minute with Delphine and Cosima, and she sort of hints at, well, she doesn't hint, but she sort of whispers that her medicine's in the fridge. Need you to go and do it. And also she gives the piece of paper that she ripped out about the girl, the Afghan child, that she has cancer and that she's somehow involved in this sort of ramping up of the science and stuff, but that the science is there and correct. And then we see Sarah hiding, but she's found this deer that's like been shot and sort of ripped stomach out, and that Amar, the guy that was like, what's going on here, is like, what is this? Like, this, it's not a deer, it's a wolf. It's been shot and then stomach ripped out. Like, that's not right, is it? And then we go back to P.T. Westmoreland's house part of the village, and we see Rachel coming down the stairs to address the crowd. And I feel like Rachel is sort of, she's very much a believer now. Not that the sort of ruthlessness has gone from her, but like she's given herself over to this, and she's sort of almost calm in a sense. I don't know how, it's hard to describe, but it's like, you know, like a cult believer, and they're sort of like so devout that, you know, when it all gets tipped out from under her, she could be the one to fall greatly, if that makes sense. And they still talk about this fountain. Like, what fountain? I hope we do get to see this so-called fountain. And then we go back to Donnie. I'm like, still got the suitcase. Oh, what a double chin. I've probably done this whole video and be like, Sophie, you have so much of a double chin. I'm just like, oh, body conscious. But I still have food, so. So we see he's still got his suitcase, and he gets to the car, takes the cover off, opens the door, and then this bloke who's obviously there to sort of kidnap him, like they kidnapped Alison, come, and then we hear Helena's music. So it's like, Helena is here somewhere. And then she sort of jumps on this guy and sort of is like, you know, which is amazing considering she's pregnant. And she sort of overpowers him and tackles, and then sort of, I think he's suffocated, I don't know whether he's dead or not, but like knocked out. So they fall to the ground, and then sort of she lets go and sort of turns around, and then when we see her sort of move her arms, we see she's got a stick in her stomach, in where the babies are. I'm like, I heard about this, but I was not prepared for this. Like, no, that's not good. Can we also have a rule that we cannot hurt Helena or her babies? We get a clone scene, and I'm so happy. Cosima goes into the medical shed, we'll call it shed, teepee, that's the word, teepee, and is sort of getting the injection, and then Sarah comes through the side door, which is not locked, can I just say, and Cosima's like, why are you're all injured, you've been stabbed, like, what? And Sarah's sort of saying to her, you know, I've come to rescue you, we need to get Charlotte, and then we need to go to the boat and leave, because that's the reason why she didn't get on the boat in the first place and leave. And Cosima's like, I want to stay because this is where she can find out what's going on for herself, like in her science knowledge, and sort of, I think she's not invested, but like she sort of is so close to finding out scientifically why, whereas I think Sarah sort of, I sort of think sometimes you can never tell with Sarah what her true motive is, but Cosima is very much scientifically led, and so she wants to meet this P.T. Westmoreland and sort of find out what's going on, which kind of makes me worry for Cosima as well. I'm a bit like, what? She's not leaving, so does that mean she's gonna die? You know, like you sort of see in these shows and stuff, people complete their mission and sort of are killed in the process or sort of die afterwards, and I'm like, no, that's 3 clones that I've already told you you cannot kill. 4. And then, so Sarah leaves to sort of go to the boat, and Cosima gets a syringe that she needs to inject into sort of under your belly button, sort of a bit lower, and it is one giant needle. I'm like, I only use like little butterfly needles when I do my growth hormone. And then we see messenger guy being on the door and opening it because he doesn't believe in locks. This island doesn't, this village doesn't. He's like, what are you doing? And then we see Rachel come behind him being like, don't worry, I'll sort it. And I'm like, oh, it's never a good thing when Rachel's like, I'll sort this. But what's weird and sort of, this is where I'm kind of confused, like who's good, who's bad, is that Rachel helps Cosima and she's like, I'm just as invested in this as you are. And she actually helps Cosima inject herself, but she's like, PT wants you to be part of this as well. And I'm like, this is all sounding a bit weird. Like, it's hard because this is the first episode, there's not much to sort of go on, and there's not, like, you can't say, whereas if you're like 5 episodes in, and I'm not like calling for it because then it will be closer to the season finale and I'll be like, no, but at least then we'd sort of have a bit more information to sort of be like, okay, so everything I've said here might just, nothing of it will come to fruition. And she's saying that they will work to cure all the clones, and I'm like, but at what cost? Because in this show there's always a cost. They never do things, like, it's never black and white why they do things or what will happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that is kind of what happened last time. They said, oh, we've made this cure, but Susan Duncan wanted to restart human cloning with it as well. So it's sort of like, is that a new partnership? Cosima and Rachel. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure whether I like it. It's a bit like, Cosima, stay good. Stay good. Don't go to Rachel's darkish side. I'm going to say ish because I don't know where she stands right now. And then at the end of the episode we go to Sarah again. She's found the boat, it's not guarded. She goes into the boathouse, which is like a bigger boat. She's untying the knots to sort of let it free. She gets the key, and then this bloke comes in, shoots her with like a blow dart sort of thing, that's sort of not tranquilizer dart, that's it. And yeah, falls to the ground. And I'm like, Sarah just cannot catch a break, can she? She got stabbed by Rachel. Susan Duncan is out of action. She saw her sort of flailing and being like, oh, help me, help me. Her daughter and her mum are kidnapped. Her brother is now kidnapped. Rachel takes the cure. Cosima's on this dodgy island. She's trying to escape it. The Hendrixes and Helena are incommunicado. The rest of the clones are spread far and wide, and just as she's about to escape, she gets hit with a tranquilizer dart. I mean, seriously, she cannot catch a break. Cannot catch a break. And then Rachel comes in and she's sort of like hazy, sort of like, oh, tranquilizer dart is making me hazy and stuff. And Rachel's there and she says, it's a new day, Sarah. And I'm like, okay, you were nice to Cosima and now you've gone a bit mean again. Thank you for watching. This may have just been a whole shot of my double chin. So, hopefully not. Really hope not. Obviously this one is gonna be late, probably will go up tomorrow, which is Wednesday. No, I'm gonna be like, just Wednesday, because I've been a bit busy this week, but now that I'm sort of into it, I will make sure I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? I'm just so busy. Not. So, thanks for watching. Bye.